a college student, and I still live at home with my mom, so I don't really know how to cook much. Like, I know pretty much nothing. But my boyfriend's actually a pretty good cook, and the last couple months he has been teaching me. And we've made dinner like for his family a lot actually, like 2 or 3 times a week. So I'm learning, and one time we made fried chicken and apple pie and stuff. It was really good. So I've made like, pretty decent dinners, not just like mac and cheese and stuff. But yeah, before I started making dinner with my boyfriend, I knew the basics like putting Pop-Tarts in the toaster, bowl of cereal, ramen noodles. Yeah. But today I'm going to teach you how to make an all-American homemade meal. So we're going to start with cutting the chicken, if you want to start with a whole chicken. I also made this meal for my boyfriend, like all by myself, and I didn't get a whole chicken because I don't like cutting it. So I got the pre-cut, which it doesn't taste as good because it loses all the flavor, like all the juices are already gone. So I would, if you make this, I'd recommend getting a whole chicken. And so the first picture here, to separate the leg from the body, you just pull it out and you have to cut through the joint. And then, I know this is kind of gross, and then to separate in like the second, or I guess the second picture shows that too. But the third one is cutting the thigh from the leg, and you bend it together and you cut right through the knee joint. And then to get the breasts, you flip the chicken upside down, and you cut like down the middle of it from like the bottom to the neck, and then you bend back the breasts, and you cut like where it folds, you cut it so it's like you have the breastbones, and then you just take the bones off of that. And then next you have to batter the chicken. Oh wait, that's not it, but anyways. Batter the chicken, you put in 1/3 cup of flour, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 a teaspoon of pepper into a bag, and then you can put like 1 or 2 pieces of chicken in there, and you just shake it up, and you get a pan, like a deep frying pan of oil, probably like, I don't know, I'd say an inch and a half thick, and when it's ready, you'll know if you take a drop of water and you let it like drip into the pan and it sizzles, like it's pretty noticeable. So then the oil's ready and it's like hot enough, and you want to put like the bigger pieces of chicken, the meatier pieces in first, and you don't want to crowd them or anything because then it doesn't cook right. That's what happened when I did it. I kind of burned a few pieces, but my first time. So you leave it in there, and you brown one side first, and it takes like 15 to 20 minutes, and then you'll flip it over, and you want to put the cover on then, and you leave it for 30 to 40 minutes. In the last 10 minutes, you want to cook it uncovered and so you can usually cook like, I'd say like you cook the 2 breasts first, and then you can probably get away with like, I think I did 4 legs in one, and that was okay. Next, fried chicken. Next, I'm going to tell you about corn on the cob. So, you can get it from the store like this, and you want to remove the husks, which is like the green plant part on it, and then like the hairy stuff right there, the like white stuff. I think it's called silk, and you can just remove that too. And then you can cut them in half, or you can leave them whole, whatever. And you want to put them into a pot of boiling salt water, or just salt water, and you boil them. And you want to make sure there's enough water that it's completely covered. And you leave it in for like 6 to 8 minutes until it's like, tender. And then, so next we're going to talk about apple pie. And apple pie, for the crust, you want to take 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2/3 cup of shortening, or like, you can use butter, and 5 to 7 tablespoons of cold water. Now, the colder the water, the fluffier and like flakier the crust is. So it's a good thing. And you mix it all together, and it makes a dough. and then like on a breadboard, you want to put down like flour so it doesn't like stick to the breadboard, and you roll it out so it's like 1/8 of an inch thick. And then you get a 9-inch pie pan. And what I do is I take the dough and just like set it in the like over the pie pan, and then like press it in, and then just cut around the pie pan. Then I take the extra stuff and like put it back into a ball, and I roll it out again, and then just like leave it flat on the breadboard. And after you cut 6 to 8 apples, and you want green apples because when you put them in the oven, the apples cook down, and they don't cook down as much as red apples, so you don't want your pie to look flat. So green apples are better, and you want thin slices because the thinner the slices, the faster they cook. So you don't want to take it like make a pie and have it take like 2 hours. So thinner slices are good, and then you take the apple slices and you put them in a bowl and you mix them with cinnamon and sugar. And like if they're starting to get brown, because like that's what happens like when you cut the apples, you can put some lemon juice on them, and that helps. After you're done mixing them with cinnamon and sugar, you put them in the pie crust that's in the pie tin. And you can arrange them in a pattern if you want, or just throw them in there really. And then take the pie crust, the dough that you rolled out again, and you put it on top. You cut it again, and then you seal it together with like a fork. You go around and press the edges, and then don't forget to cut slits in the top for ventilation. And you cook it in the oven at 400 degrees for 50 minutes. And yep, I made this all by myself for my boyfriend, and I have to admit it was better than I thought it was going to be, except for those pieces of chicken I cooked. It was a good experience, and I think everyone should learn how to cook, so we're not all eating ramen noodles all the time. And yeah, I think you should try making dinner for your family or friends sometime.
I was like, oh, not quite. We were like that today. I wore practice. I think it was the same karma. Did you get from first? Was it on? Yeah. We planned it. I can't eat this.
You don't understand. I went over the hurdle. When you came up with that, you have another class. And then I got a you're biting me.
This was my last class.
All right, Maggie, there's a lot of stuff in the speech that works well. I like the opening story. It kind of helps pull us into the speech. And you come back to those kinds of things a couple of places during the presentation. I think you could do more of that to jazz it up and make it a little bit more interesting. It's hard to listen to somebody describe a process that they're not watching and they're not participating in. It's like watching somebody teach you how to do something in Photoshop. You watch them go through all the steps, and without having a hands-on experience, it often doesn't feel like you're learning very much from it. So what you need to do, I think you've got a good story to tell. You need to make it a little bit more of a story and a little bit less about all the technical stuff. For instance, cutting the chicken, I think I would have cut out all the directions about how to cut the chicken and just keep it simple and say, you know, you could use a pre-cut chicken, but generally cutting your own chicken is better. There are lots of ways to learn how to do that. Give them a recommendation on it, and don't try and tell them about that, but tell them the story about how that improved the taste of the chicken, why you tried it that way the first time, the mistake that you made while cooking it, and make the story a little bit more the focus